One of the paradoxes of the Gulf crisis is to see Qatar accused of supporting and funding terrorism. This is an accusation which does not look like Qatar, its positions and its actions. It would rather look like the terrorist attacks of 9/11, their funding and their execution, and all of those were belonging to Al-Qaeda organization, and none of them was a Qatari. The leader of that organization, who provided the funds and was its planning brain, Osama bin Laden, was Saudi, while Ayman al-Zawahiri, his former assistant and the present leader of the organization, is Egyptian. And among the group who implemented the attacks, 15 were Saudis and 2 Emiratis. Turki al-Bin Ali, the general legislator and leader in the Daesh organization in Syria and Libya, is a Bahraini national. These are facts that cannot be ignored. As for Qatar, it was among those who first visited the site of the attacks in Ground Zero, and His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, the father emir of Qatar at that time, was the first head of state to visit the place and express his solidarity with the victims of the terrorist attacks, whose perpetrators belong to the blockade countries. We, in Qatar, stand against any terrorist action in any country. What happened in the United States of America, there is no doubt that it might have affected the reputation of Arabs. But the American people should understand that terrorism is not limited to Arabs, because it is easy to fool Saudis. It is with this shocking expression that the Saudi writer, Mansour al-Naqidan, summarizes the reasons which made Saudis join terrorist groups, fight in their ranks, and support and fund them, before announcing that they were severing their ties with their original country by tearing their Saudi passports in front of cameras. This footage, the Al Arabiya Saudi channel based in the United Arab Emirates, broadcasted on its screen 3 years ago, summarizes a deep tragedy for a long time has been inspiring fear to the Saudi society. But the policy and decision makers, instead of admitting and work at dealing with it, tried to run away to the front and put responsibility on others. But this man threw back the fireball in the lap of the one who made it. It is a deep matter, says the man. It is related to the education and teaching curriculum, to what the scholars and religious sheikhs are inciting people to do, to the weak sense of belonging to the Saudi state. There is a smart reference here to the long history of this parental relationship with terrorist organizations before Daesh and its sister entities existed. Reports of the U.S. administration say that the UAE have been mentioned 40 times in the annex relating to the funding of the 9/11 attacks, according to the investigation file conducted by the U.S. Investigation Committee in charge of those attacks. The report adds that most of the funds had been sent through transfers from financial centers and banks in the UAE, while some 3,200 claims against Saudi Arabia are waiting for the adoption and implementation of the JASTA Act. And this is a story that the donations by billions will not cover for it or cancel it. This is the monster we brought up in our homes, seems to say Mansour al-Naqidan through his many narratives about supporting terrorism and embracing it. This definition is applicable to the country he belongs to and speaks on its behalf, the country he makes sure to put on its traditional dress when he appears on TV.